United Nations structure, working, role, demand for reforms. United Nations structure, working, role, and demand for reforms. 1. Historical foundation and charter framework. Establishment and purpose. Founded on October 24, 1945 after World War II. 51 original member states, now 193 member states. Headquarters in New York City. UN Charter as constitutional document. 4 main purposes: maintain peace, develop relations, solve problems, promote human rights. Principal organ structure: Security Council. Primary responsibility for international peace and security. 15 members, 5 permanent, P5 with veto power, 10 non-permanent. P5: United States, Russia, China, UK and France can authorize sanction, peacekeeping operation, military action. General Assembly, main deliberative body with all member states. Each state has one vote, decides on budget, admits new members, makes recommendation on international issues. Economic and Social Council, ECO SOC, 51 member states elected by General Assembly, coordinates economic and social work, works with specialized agencies and NGOs. International Court of Justice, principal judicial organ, 15 judges elected for 9-year terms, hears disputes between states, located in The Hague, Netherlands. Secretariat, administrative organ headed by Secretary General, implements decisions of other organs. Staff of international civil servants. Trusteeship Council, originally supervised trust territories, suspended operations in 1994. Second, specialized agencies and programs. Key agencies: World Health Organization, WHO. United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. International Labour Organization, ILO. Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. World Bank Group, International Monetary Fund, IMF. Funds and programs: United Nations Development Program, UNDP. United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF. United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR. World Food Program, WFP. Working mechanisms and operations: peacekeeping operations, deployed to conflict zones with consent of parties, monitor ceasefire, protect civilians, support peace processes. Currently about 1 lakh personnel in 12 operations. Funded through assessed contributions. Humanitarian assistance, coordinate international response to emergencies, provide food, shelter, medical care to millions, work in conflict and natural disaster situations. Development work, Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs framework. Poverty reduction, education, health initiatives, technical assistance to developing countries. Human rights protection, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948. Human Rights Council monitoring and reporting. Special rapporteurs and investigative commissions. Critical role in global governance. Conflict resolution, diplomatic mediation and good offices. Peacekeeping and peacebuilding missions. Sanctions and arms embargoes. War crime tribunals and accountability mechanisms. Standard setting, international law development, environmental agreements, Paris Agreement, human rights treaties and conventions, development goals and indicators. Global coordination, health emergencies response, COVID-19 was a good example of this. Climate change negotiations, refugee protection and assistance, humanitarian crisis management. Major achievements and successes: peace and security, prevented escalation of numerous conflicts, successful peacekeeping in Cambodia, El Salvador, and Mozambique, Nuclear non-proliferation treaty regime. Proliferation. Decolonization of many territories. Human rights advancements. Universal Declaration of Human Rights adoption. International human rights law development. Women rights and gender equality promotion. Indigenous peoples' right protection. Development progress. Millennium Development Goals achievements. Eradication of smallpox. Reduced child mortality rates. Increased primary education access. Humanitarian work. Nobel Peace Prize Awards 1954, 1981, 1988, 2001, 2005, 2020. Life saving assistance to millions annually. Refugee Protection Framework. Disaster Response Coordination. Persistence Challenges and Limitations. Structural Issues. Security Council Veto Power Abuse. North-South divide in decision making. Bureaucratic inefficiency and duplication. Funding shortages and arrears. Operational constraints. Peacekeeping mission limitation. Implementation and enforcement gaps. Political polarization among members. Sovereignty versus intervention tensions. Effectiveness questions. Inability to prevent major conflicts. Slow response to emerging crises. Limited enforcement capabilities. Democratic deficit in governance. Comprehensive reform demands. Security Council reform. Membership expansion. Add new permanent members: India, Brazil, Germany, Japan, African representation. Increase non-permanent members to 20 to 25. Regional representation rebalancing. Criteria for membership based on population economic contributions. Veto power modification. Voluntary restraint on veto use in mass atrocity cases. Collective veto by multiple permanent members. Abolition for certain categories of issues. French-Mexican initiative on veto restraint. Working methods improvement. Greater transparency in decision making. Enhanced consultation with true contributing countries. More frequent open debates. Better cooperation with regional organizations. General Assembly revitalization. Strengthen resolution implementation. Enhance agenda relevance to current challenges. Improve working methods and efficiency. Strengthen relationship with other UN organs. Management and secretariat reform. Streamline bureaucracy and reduce duplication. Enhanced accountability and transparency. Merit-based recruitment and geographic representation. Improved coordination among agencies. Funding system reform. More equitable assessment scale. Reduced reliance on voluntary contributions. Timely payment of dues. Transparency in budget allocation. Regional and group perspectives. African Union position. At least 2 permanent Security Council seats with veto. 5 non-permanent seats for Africa. Address historical underrepresentation. Common African position through Ajulvini consensus. G4 nations: India, Brazil, Germany, Japan. Mutual support for permanent membership. Willing to forego initial veto power. Enhanced responsibility in international peace. Uniting for consensus group. Opposes new permanent members. Supports expansion of non-permanent category. Italy, Pakistan, Mexico, South Korea leadership. P5 positions. Mixed responses to reform proposals. Concerns about effectiveness maintenance. Veto power retention insistence. Gradual reform preference. Recent developments and initiatives. Our Common Agenda Report. Secretary General Vision for UN Renewal. Strengthened global governance architecture. Enhanced youth engagement. Emergency platform for complex crises. Peacekeeping reform. Action for peacekeeping. A4P initiatives. Improved safety and security of peacekeepers. Enhanced performance and accountability. Better peacekeeping political mission integration. Management reform. New management architecture implementation. Decentralization of authority. Improved accountability framework. Enhanced result based management. Digital cooperation. Roadmap for digital cooperation. Global digital commons governance. Digital inclusion and capacity building. Cybersecurity cooperation enhancement. Future prospects and strategic direction. Adaptation to new challenges. Climate change and environmental security. Global health security architecture. Cyber governance and digital transformation. Terrorism and violent extremism response. Effectiveness enhancement. Conflict prevention strengthening. Sustainable development acceleration. Human rights protection improvement. Humanitarian response modernization. Legitimacy strengthening. Broader participation mechanisms. Enhanced transparency and accountability. Civil society engagement expansion. Partnership with regional organizations. The United Nations remains indispensable despite its limitations, continuing to adapt and reform to address evolving global challenges while facing persistent demands for more fundamental structural changes to reflect 21st century realities. That's it for this topic.